Ladies and gentlemen, Ja Morant, former Memphis Grizzlies All-Star, has now been officially traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. Yes, the Portland Trail Blazers that already has a rising All-Star in Demi Advija, and the returning original star. Well, I mean, when he started there, I'm talking about my guy Dame Dolla, who just re-signed with the team, his original team, back in just this past off season, sometime in July, where I think he's signed for 3 years there. Essentially, he wanted to finish his career in Portland, which is great because he realized that things just didn't work out in Milwaukee. So, he decided, you know what? Screw listening to the mainstream media. I'm just going to do what's best for me. And this is the same dude that has said all these years when he was in Portland, I'm loyal to the soil, right? So that led me to believe, well, hey, you know what? He's going to be a Blazer for life. Just like I thought Giannis was going to be a Buck for life until he got traded to Milwaukee. And now look at Ja. I thought Ja was gonna become one of the NBA's bigger stars, like in the making, and especially since he was ready to make Memphis relevant again. One of the more electrifying players, definitely a high flyer like Derrick Rose, right? But unfortunately, Ja's been injury prone, and after all his antics with his wannabe gangster antics, that and a lot of people, including myself, know he's not a gangster like that. I mean, he's just trying too hard, but unfortunately, with those antics that he has made for the last few years, that he's he's been active. And I mean, he's been on the headlines for the wrong reasons, which is essentially that. So now he hasn't been. He has not been in the headlines for so long. Except just when I heard, what is it, last what was it, just yesterday, when Dreamers Pro made that video about Ja Morant, that no one wants him. No team wants to sign this guy. Just when I thought LeBron was the only guy that's having trouble trying to find a team that's gonna be willing to pay him, however much they can pay him, with his worth. Ja is the same way. And today, just earlier from rest, that's when I found out about the trade. And when I woke up from my nap, which was very short, wasn't really a nap, Mari, told me the same thing about this trade. And then she knew that Dame was my guy and all that. We've always have gone back and forth about, Steph and Dame and who's more clutch or what have you, right? Going back to our days on Facebook. I miss those conversations, by the way. So yeah, man. So now Ja is officially a Blazer. Interesting. So both of these guys are labeled point guards, Ja and Dame. Well, here's the thing about today's NBA. A lot of these quote-unquote point guards are not really traditional point guards like that. I'll give you an example, or plenty of examples. Trae Young, even though he's an assist guy, I think he's just more of a scorer, like a shooting guard. Well, I guess you can say he is a traditional kind of point guard, but a lot of times when I watch Trae Young play on the court, he's just been more of a scorer than he is a facilitator. Now, I mean, for him to have games where he's assisted on 20 passes or more, you know what I'm saying? I guess you can say he's a real point guard, but guys like back in the day, and when the NBA still gave a damn about their positions, you know, all the big men played like big men. Dwight, Bynum, um, even guys like Dirk and Duncan, right? KG. They're like the era that I grew up watching. Everybody's still playing their own positions. The big men, the fives, the fours, the threes, the twos, and when it comes to the point guard position, they're playing traditional point guard. I mean, you still had guys like Jason Kidd that were still around, and Chris Paul emerging as one of the all stars. Especially when I remembered first watching him when he was with the Hornets, the New Orleans Hornets at the time, right? So there were still some traditional point guards then. Hell, there were even a bunch of traditional point guards before my time. I mean, in the 80s, 90s, you consider some of the all-time greats when it comes to the point guard position. Magic Johnson, obviously. Jerry West is another one. And I thought about these guys like Rondo, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, right? Russell Westbrook is still in the league, but he's already at the tail end of his career. And he, to me, is considered a traditional point guard. I mean, not a great shooter, or not not your typical, good jump shooter. Yes, he can knock down some jump shots, but he's not really a jump shooter like that. So you can argue he's a traditional point guard. Obviously I named Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo. So yeah, and Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, right? So, but when it comes to today's players, like it's hard for me to figure these point guards out. Like if they're really just these traditional point guards, because when it comes to a traditional point guard, they're like, they're usually pass first guys. But when it comes to guys like Steph and Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, right? The way like when I watch these guys play, they're usually more scorers. They play more like shooting guards than they do point guards. And having watched these guys for quite some time already, they happen to just score more than they do facilitate as your traditional point guard. So looking at these guys, Ja Morant and Dame, look, in this era of positionless basketball, I mean, let's just face it. Nobody like the way that basketball is being played now in the NBA, like positions 1 through 5 are just being treated as just whatever, like positionless. Like they're not really played to those numbers anymore. So guys are just, I mean, even see a lot of these big men. They're supposed to act like big men. They're just playing outside, and they're just yakking up threes and jump shots or what have you, like Steph or Dame, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's those guys like that. That's what makes today's NBA, positionless ball. I mean, you don't got big men that are playing like big men anymore. Like, getting their butts in the paint and trying to score, efficiently like that. Like guys of a Wilt Chamberlain and, Kareem, obviously Kareem and, Wilt. You got, you know what I'm saying? It's Shaq, obviously, So look, man, looking at these guys right here, Dame and Ja, they're both point guards, but watching both of these guys play, I don't really see them as traditional point guards. So I can understand why, I can understand these guys like playing both in a starting position. I mean, who the hell plays traditional point guard anymore in this era of NBA when you're playing positionless ball? So if you want to have these guys, I mean, at first I told Russ earlier, and some of the other guys when Russ told me about this trade that, with Dame essentially already at the tail end of his career, he should he should already be a backup point guard. Since Ja is already in the team and Ja is still much younger than him, right? You got these all stars on the team now, in Dame's team. I mean, Ja Morant is only 26 years old, man. Demi Advija, who is a rising all star in that same Portland team, is only 25. So for the most part, I thought Dame might just be, he might just be the backup, guard, because Jaw's already there, and I would think that Ja and Deni Avia were going to be in the starting lineup for sure, and but it turns out I think Dame is still going to be a starter, and hey, you know what? Cool. So if you can have this lineup of Dame, Ja, and Deni Advia, I mean, damn son, like I hate to say it, I think Portland's looking like a super team as well. Well, I mean, when LaMelo Ball got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, was it a couple days ago? The Minnesota Timberwolves already became a super team. I hate to say it, man. Like Giannis and Bam, and who is their other star that's in there right now? I don't even remember. Wait, is Andrew Wiggins still there? I thought at one point he was an All Star. So I thought Miami might already be a super team again. You know what I'm saying? Just considering he have Bam and Giannis there. And then I forgot who was in there. So I don't know if they're really a super team like that or not. But looking at Minnesota, you got 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert has been an All-Star, I think, a few times already in his career. So him, LaMelo, and friggin' an Ant-Man, that to me is already a super team. And now you got Ja Morant joining Dame and Deni Advija. You got 3 All-Stars in that team. They're already becoming a super team. Even though Dame is supposedly already at the tail end of his career. I mean, I know he suffered that really big injury just this past season. What was it, the ACL or something like that? If my mind serves me correctly, I think he had the ACL tear. So coming back, I'm not sure if Dame is going to function the same. And considering that he already has probably a few more years in the league, but who knows how he's going to operate, I would hope he would still perform the same, but in reality, I don't think he will. I mean, he'll still score. He'll definitely still shoot his long distance threes, especially his near half court or half court threes. He'll be a scorer like that. But for the most part, I think he's going to serve as a veteran presence to Ja and Deni Advia. See, he'll have that leadership. Having been a Blazer for so long, and even if he only lasted a couple of years or a couple of seasons in Milwaukee, and coming back to his original team, he will definitely have that veteran presence, to help the team, just get better, and even in the future when Dame retires, he'll pass on the torch to both of those guys, Ja and Deni Advia. Now, with Ja alone, look, man, everybody at this point knows about his antics and what he has done to just, cause chaos in Memphis, leaving his teammates just, in total disappointment about what he did and all that. It's just, it's very immature of him, but, it is what it is. And now he's in a different team. Just yesterday when Dreamers Pro made that video about Ja, like nobody wants him, and now look at Portland. Portland's willing to get him, and they traded away Jeremy Grant, who was a pretty good player. Pretty good I would say like a good all-star caliber player or complimentary star, and some other guy named Chris Murray, and for Ja Morant. So, what are my what are what are the expectations for this team going forward? Without question, they're going to be a playoff team. So they're probably going to be. They're not going to be in the top three for damn sure. I mean, I already know the teams are going to be in the top three. Automatically, OKC and the Spurs are going to be in the top two. On the third, it may just be, well, I mean, for now, I might label Denver in there. And it just, as well with the other teams, like, I mean, we have to see what happens with the Rockets, and we'll have the whole KD situation, the whole KD dilemma, right? So we'll have to see about that, and and the Warriors. Oh my God, I thought about making a video on that, but we'll see. I got a lot of work to do. So after this video, we'll see, because I still got other content in my mind still, and if I don't get to that, maybe tomorrow, because this whole thing is just crazy with what's going on in Golden State. That has to be another video about that, but right now I got so much going on, and if I don't get to it, then maybe tomorrow. I mean, I know I got to go back to my dump, but like I said, we'll see. So I say the Blazers are going to be probably in the 5 or 6 seed. They'll definitely be in the playoff seeding. Play in, I would be surprised if they, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me too much if they landed in the 7th seed, considering how stacked the Western Conference is. And Memphis is pretty much going to be in rebuild mode. So I do expect the Blazers to be in at least the 5th or 6th seed. But we'll have to see how this plays out, okay? So, yeah, I mean, my reaction to this trade, man, it's a shocker considering that, of all the teams, that Ja could have been in, it had to be Portland, where it's essentially Dame's team, right? So, look, man, I thought he could have been in, a team like, I don't know. There was a team that does not have an all-star right now. I can't name from the top of my head, because I think every team has an all-star at this point. But yeah, man. How will the fit be? We'll have to see. Assuming that Ja can keep his head straight and be disciplined, then maybe all will be good with the Blazers, So we'll have to see how this plays out. Until then, I won't know, okay? So you tell me what you guys think. Peace. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.